Good morning. It is Snowed In Sunday. How are you guys? I wanted to share today. I did a review on a movie last night. I was laying in bed and I hadn't seen it. And I shared in one of my videos about some of the movies that are on my playlist in my Disney. And it shows you, right at the top, like what's recommended for you. And so one of them was Mary Poppins. Now, most of you have probably watched this movie and have seen this movie. I grew up with this movie, but I never got to watch it. I never watched that movie, ever. My mother didn't like us watching TV. She didn't want us watching that movie. She didn't want us watching, what's it called? Sesame Street or Mr. Rogers or Electric. What was that one? Oh, something electric. I don't remember. But, and Reading Rainbow. She wouldn't want us watching those movies and our shows. And I would get in trouble if I did. We were punished if we were caught watching those shows. And this puzzled me as an adult. And so I was like, I'm going to watch this movie. It's been around forever, And I know that my kids and my grandkids have probably all seen this movie. And I've probably been in the room when they've seen this movie. But I've never, watched. I've never paid attention to it because I might have been on my phone or reading a book or doing something else, or my mind was cooking or cleaning or doing motherly things, I never sat down and watched the movie. So I watched it last night. Mary Poppins, the original. And I really had some eye-opening experience there. Some things were revealed to me. And the part where the little girl is singing and then her brother's there and they're reading the letter that they wrote to their daddy, letting them know, if you didn't do this and if you did this and, we would be this way and all this stuff. I wrote one of them type of letters, many of them, to my parents. I would leave it on their pillow. And I know my mother can, if she's still alive, can report on this, because they didn't like that. Like that one bit. Because I was showing them places and things and stuff that they weren't doing and they should have been doing. And it didn't go over very well. Really didn't. And I was considered a brat, or I was considered, too big for my own britches, So it didn't go over very well. I had done it, I think, 2 or 3 times. And by the 3rd time, I realized nothing's going to change, so why even bother? But that hit home for me. If you ever go and watch that movie, it's the part where they're sitting there and they're reading their letter. And then that's the letter that gets blown away or sent off to the sky, to Miss Mary Poppins. And then I started relating to how I was as a child. I was a babysitter. I babysat every single child in my neighborhood and abroad, even in, neighboring cities. People heard about me and, they're like, oh, I have Denise babysit you. She's real good with the kids. And, she plays with them and she's, firm with them, but she's not scary. I was only 12 years old and I'm raising children, So I had a name going around, check out this babysitter. And so when I graduated high school, you had to be 18 in order to work at a daycare center. And I was like, I'm going to work at a daycare center. And so after I was working at this restaurant in Bridgeton, Missouri for a long time, of which I'm going to talk a lot about that too in another video, because everybody and their brother wanted to work with me. I had everybody, my friends, my brothers, my, relatives, my neighbors, people I went to school with, everybody that I knew wanted to work at this Bonanza restaurant in Bridgeton. So anyway, that's another story. We're going to talk about that. But after I turned 18, I went and applied. I walked in with my white dress on, and I had my application filled out to, it was called KinderCare. And it was there on Dorset, right by my house. And I always would drive by it, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to work there one day. And I sure did. I even had thoughts of becoming a director and, really going after it. I started going to school for early childhood development in a community college, and I thought I could be a teacher. That was my plan. And so I did that. A lot of things got in the way, and so I wound up having to make some changes. But I was always really good with kids. And even as an adult, I owned my own daycare center, my in-home daycare center that I had registered with the state of Missouri. And I wasn't licensed because you had to pay extra for that. And, we didn't have a whole lot of money. We had 5 kids, we were on food stamps for sure, and barely making it. But I had a daycare center, and I just loved it. I loved the children. I just have that frame of mind as a child. I have a childlike heart, and I'm always wanting to be with children, always. And so it was the best thing for me, but financially it was the worst of things, because you just don't make enough money doing that. And it's a large responsibility taking on other people's children, especially in your home, Anyway, so I was watching this movie, and a lot of the things that were going on with Mary Poppins is something that I can relate to. She's taking care of children. She's, doing a lot of these, magical things. And I could relate to that. I really could. And so the reason why I'm sharing this is because I wanted to let you know that a lot of the things that you see in your own life, you can see played out in other areas. And I want you to pay attention to those things, because those are the things that help you project onto your next level of your growth. And if you really pay attention to the people, places, and things around you, and you look at the signs and you absorb them, and you really analyze, why this happened, and maybe this really, it's nothing's a coincidence. I really don't believe in coincidences. There's a reason for everything happening in your life, and it's universal. We all go through these different levels and steps in our lives. We really do. And we can find similarity in our own struggles. They may not be the exact same struggle, but they are similar enough in the aspects of the decisions that we make going forward. I don't know if I can really pinpoint that for you today in this video, but I really want you to listen, watch, pay attention to your surroundings. Even if it's just a bird that flies by your window, or, certain thing happens that's just a little out of the ordinary, and it draws your attention to it. And for those things that draw your attention, pay attention to it. The universe is trying to tell you something. And once you start listening to the universe, and you start seeing those signs, and you putting them into action, and you like, okay, I see this. Or maybe you're, trying to tell me this. I wonder if that's it. And then you ask, are you trying to tell me this? And then you see a certain angel number on the receipt you have, or a certain angel number on your phone, or your timer, or your watch, or something, Something draws your attention to that. And I just got a ring notification. There's a motion at your front door on my. These types of things are things that you need to pay attention to and be like, you're right on track. Because when you start seeing these notifications and telling you that you're right on track, that's when your life turns around. because you're like, I am right on track. Thank you, universe. Thank you. I do see that. I do know that I am making better decisions in my life, and I am growing, and I am doing what I need to be doing to not only better myself, but better the environment around me, raising the vibrations up around here, you know? That's our goal. That's our goal here in life, is to make our lives less difficult. Oh, hey, Bailey. Did you knock into the wall? What's the matter? She's always right next to me as soon as I hit that record button. She's my little gatekeeper. I love her. So I don't know if this can resonate with you. I hope it does. If it does, just leave a comment or, share it. Let people, know. Let me know. Am I on track or am I just fucking crazy? I know I'm crazy. But, I want other people to feel the joy and the invigorating feeling of having a knowing that for sure you are right where you need to be. 11:11 on the clock. Good day. Good day.